this concept of conceiving kids, now the mother will no longer have to carry the kid for 9 months. Now it can be raised in a bag. How convenient. Mothers will no longer have to sacrifice their time and, most importantly, their body. Check out this new.
Shalom, shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akian. And it's your brother Bawan back again with another video. I know basically what we're going to be going into is, they see the title right here: World's First Synthetic Embryos Created. And basically what you have is Esau, Edom. And this is the funny thing. This is something that has really been disturbing me for a while. Esau, Edom will take something out of the earth, okay, the Most High created, and then when he creates it turns it into something else, you call it synthetic, call it artificial, okay. Like everything that this devil creates isn't organic. But what he did is that he's used his madness, because we know this devil is a mad scientist and a wicked man on the earth, okay, to change the order that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has set up and completely turn it upside down. And that's why you have so much wickedness rampant on the earth right now, because Esau Edom keeps on pushing the envelope. He keeps on trying to deconstruct, creation, deconstruct the works of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, okay, in order to, try and make his own version of it, because we already know about the God complex of these devils, perfectly encapsulated in the book of Second Thessalonians, the second chapter, okay. So now we're looking at Esau Edom trying to create life, because that's what basically what all this is going into. He's trying to, put a soul inside, okay, whether it's his AI technology or even a so-called artificial human being. He's trying to reconstruct, or rather, reverse engineer creation, because that's what this devil has always been trying to do from the advent of his modern science up until now, okay. Constantly trying to reverse engineer the creation of Yahweh Basham Yahushai, okay. And that's what you see in this article, and that is what you saw in that video, where he's making an artificial womb for children to, for a baby to grow in, okay. And this is all being done, of course. They also have to give that on, they also have to make that mention that this is all being done by your 48ers, okay, because these are technologies that are being developed by, quote unquote, the what was what I'm looking for? Exactly what I'm looking for. The small heart scientists, okay. They want to use the actual term in case I get flagged for, anti-sem, okay. But before I go into the article, I actually want to get a precept, I'm really trying to consider it right now, whether I should go into the article and get the precept, but I should get this precept first, okay. And it's going into the book of, let me just get that. I think that should be Isaiah 24, okay. And I always like to get this precept because it basically shows a summary of what Esau Edom has done on the earth, okay. So this is the book of Isaiah 24, and I will start from verse 4. Isaiah 24 verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish, and that's the damn thing. In hindsight, hindsight is 2020, but when it started, okay, nobody really thought too deeply about what Esau Edom was doing on the earth. When he started extracting different chemicals from the herbs, when he started creating all these new chemicals, okay, when he started splitting, when he started merging chemicals together, you put a little sodium, a little chlorine, you form salt, right? You put a little hydrogen, a little oxygen, you form water, right? When Esau Edom started doing all that, okay, nobody really thought too deeply about what these devils are doing, because that was still in order, a little bit at the very least. But then you have these devils extracting all kinds of chemicals, okay, all kinds of products and substances from these different animals and plants, turning them into artificial products, okay. You have your different artificial flavors that is being put in all kinds of foods, to the point where you're not even eating real food anymore, what you're eating is chemicals that taste, feel, that taste and smell and look like the foods. Okay, that's what you have in all. That's what you have in majority of the things you consume right now. Okay, it's all chemicals. Okay, and now you have Esau Edom trying to do that to the biology. They're trying to do that to the biological life the Most High has created as well. Okay, where you have artificial cells now, you have you know all kinds of things that Esau Edom is trying to do. Okay, artificial cells trying to create babies with only one parent. Okay, using the stem cell research to be doing all this kind of wickedness. And what this devil is doing is he's trying to like I said, reverse engineer creation. Okay, so let me just read this first. Isaiah 24 and verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken with the everlasting covenant. And this is a result of the rulership of these devils, okay, the rulership of Esau, Edom. Okay, and back then, you couldn't really see it to the extent that you can now. And you see that these devils have completely gone insane, okay? Because according to the scriptures, and let's get that, the Most High, and this is what I'm actually thinking about, because basically, what these devils are doing, they are testing the borders that Yahweh Basham Yahushua has set up over the whole earth, because everything has its boundary, everything has its limits to what they can do, okay, or to what it can be. It's like I don't know how to put that, but let me just get that. The Most High has set up the borders which they cannot overpass. Okay, that is in the book of Esdras. That is in the book of Esdras. Okay, so okay, in the book of Esdras. Okay, I found it. So this is the book of Second Esdras 4, and I'll start from verse 5. Second Esdras 4 verse 5. Okay, Second Esdras 4 verse 4. Okay. Second Esdras 4 verse 4. Whereof if thou canst declare me one, I will shew thee also the way that thou desirest to sin, and I will shew thee from whence the wicked heart cometh. And I said, Tell on my Lord. Then said he unto me, Go thy way, thou that desirest to see, and I shall shew thee from whence the wicked heart cometh. And I said, Tell on my Lord. Then said he unto me, Go thy way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past. Then answered I and said, What man is able to do that thou shouldest ask such things of me? And he said unto me, If I should ask thee how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outgoings of paradise, peradventure thou wouldest say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. And these are the things that Esau Edom are doing, okay? He's pushing the envelope, he's pushing the borders of what he's allowed to do, in his rulership, in order to, okay, break the everlasting covenant, the ordinances that the Most High has set up upon the earth. And we should all already know the reason why he's going this far and beyond. Because even this, according to the scriptures, the Most High already made that declaration that, okay, that should be in the book of Jeremiah. But let me just finish this up, because I'm still going to go into that precept as well. Okay, so now I want to skip down a little bit, okay, because I want to jump down a little bit, because I just wanted to get that point, because I wanted to show, okay, that there are things on the earth that, right now, okay, you do not, like, that we the people cannot do, okay. There are things on the earth that, questions on the earth that cannot be answered, or things that have not yet been revealed, because Yahweh Basham Yahushua has set it up in that way, okay. So let me just go down a little bit. So this is the book of Second Esdras 4 verse 13. He answered me and said, I went into a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel and said, Come, let us go and make war against the sea, that it may depart away before us, and that we may make us small woods. The floods of the sea also in like manner took counsel and said, Come, let us go up and subdue the woods of the plain, that there also we may make us another country. The thought of the wood was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. The thought of the floods of the sea came likewise to naught, for the sand stood up and stopped them. If thou wert judged not now betwixt these two, whom wouldest thou begin to justify, or whom wouldest thou condemn? I answered and said, Verily it is a foolish thought that they both have devised. For the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea also hath his place to bear his flood. Then answered he me and said, Thou hast given a right judgment, but why judgest thou not thyself also? And that is the point right there. And these trees and the floods that the scriptures are speaking about, okay, it's going into Esau, Edom, and the heathen. Okay, they are trying to expand their borders, trying to go past the rulership or the order that the Most High has set up for them. Okay, and in doing so, they have ensured their destruction. The same way that when the trees, grow or overgrow, when there's an overgrowth, the Most High sends a forest fire. Okay, He sends, in forest fire, sends things like forest fires, erosion, okay, in order to thin out the heads. The same thing with the sea, okay, when the waters want to go past its limit, want to overpass, okay, its borders, the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahushua has sent the shore, okay, the tides to keep it at bay. Okay, so there are orders set up in order to ensure that nothing goes past its own limit, goes past its bounds, okay. Because as the scriptures say, our power Yahweh Basham Yahweh is a power of order, okay, not confusion. That's what Esau Edom is bringing upon the earth, confusion, by trying to, destroy the everlasting ordinances, the order that the Most High has set up upon the earth, and by doing so, He has brought, peril and swift destruction upon the earth. Because that is the reason why, the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahushua is about to destroy the earth, because Esau Edom has defiled the earth with his God complex, with this his research in wickedness. He is trying to advance his own ability, trying to advance his own order, his own borders his own limits that the Most High has set up for him, trying to advance it in wickedness. Because that is all these devils are after. They are trying to get all the blessings that is not for them entirely, okay, which is the spiritual power, the eternal life, right, the eternal kingdom. But your kingdom, this wicked kingdom, is not going to exist forever. Once again, Psalm the 2nd chapter. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? This also applies to Esau Edom, because he is in the same condition. Their inward thoughts. And let's get that. Let me not quote it. Let's get that. Their inward thoughts, Psalm 49, verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their land after their own names. You have to hear it here about this noise. They all suddenly started, out of nowhere. But anyway, we'll get into the point. Let's go into the article. Before I go into the article, I have another preset I wanted to bring out. Okay. When I said that when we're done, I would get it when I was speaking about the about Esau Edom and the expanding of his trying to break his limits, trying to expand the borders which Yahweh Yahshua set up. Okay, I think I said I was in the book of Jeremiah. Okay, let's get that. Here it is. So this is the book of Jeremiah 31, and I will start with Jeremiah 31 verse 35. Thus saith Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light. Jeremiah 31 verse 35. Thus saith Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahweh. Okay, and that is the reason why you see Esau Edom going so deeply into research, trying to reverse engineer creation, like I said, okay, because they are trying to, because this is the main reason right here, okay, in order to make the covenant that our people, the Israelites, as you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have made, have made it Yahweh Basham Yahweh null and void, because if they can search out the whole earth, that includes the life on the earth, and uncover all the secrets of the universe, because that's basically what the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahweh is saying right here. If Esau Edom can measure out the heavens, can map out the heavens, in other words, uncover the full secret of the universe, the secret of the universe, or even the secrets of the earth, or even the secrets of what is in the earth, okay, in the sea, underground, so on and so forth, that they will be able to, or rather the Most High will make the covenant with our people, okay, the Israelites, once again, null and void, and then these devils can continue, these devils can, their kingdom can continue, because you already know what the scriptures say, Second Ezra 6:9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, okay. So basically, they want their kingdom to continue indefinitely, while our own, is cut short or is made completely null by their quote unquote discoveries. And then let's go into so now, without further ado, let's go into the article, because I want to use this article to actually prove a point to show you that these devils actually have no idea what they are doing. Okay, with all their advancements, okay, they still do not, they still, as the scriptures say, they still have a bound, okay, a boundary, they still have the bounds which they cannot overpass. In other words, they have their limits. Okay, so let's get this. World's first synthetic embryos created. Israeli scientists grew a mouse embryo with a beating heart using only stem cells, Research Journal reports. And that's the damn thing right there, okay? They use stem cells, which, if you know about stem cells, they are basically cells extracted from the bone marrow. And what these cells are is basically a stem cell can be transformed under the right conditions into any other cell within the body. Now, who created the stem cell? You already know the answer to that question. Was Yahweh Basham Yahweh. Okay, so Esau extracting the stem cell and using his chemical witchcraft in order to convert those stem cells into basically embryos or sperm cells or brain cells or any other cell in the body, like how they grow an ear from the back of a mouse, a human ear to be precise, in order to convert those cells into any other cell in the body, and then they'll call it artificial, like they are the ones that created it from scratch, like they're the ones that created the atoms to make, okay, these cells. But what they did is they took the creation of Yahweh Basham Yahweh, okay, and did their wickedness, their witchcraft upon it, because you can say that, oh, well, this is science, this is biological, genetic science, or anything like that. But in all actuality, man, it's no different from what you see which is doing all these cartoons and TV shows and so on and so forth. But let me get this as well. Let me go to this precept. They worship the creation rather than the creator, right? Who is blessed forever? That's Romans, the first chapter. Okay. There's another point I wanted to get, because these devils, they, even with their pride and their arrogance and everything, they cannot do anything without using the creation of Yahweh Basham Yahweh. Okay, because Esau didn't, because when these devils talk, they make it seem as though, oh well, we made the cell ourselves, we grew it in a lab, we developed it from scratch. But they are extracting a cell that the Most High created to make, you know, they're extracting a cell that the Most High created, and using the conditions of the body to turn that cell into another cell. And if you go into the research of what stem cells are, you understand that these devils, they truly have not, created anything, okay, but rather using the works of Yahweh Basham Yahweh to make it seem as though, or using the power of Yahweh Basham Yahweh, to make it seem as though they are the ones doing it. So they are glorifying themselves instead of glorifying Yahweh Basham Yahweh, which is why I'm getting this precept, okay? Because at the end of the day, even this baby that they are talking about, it is still Yahweh Basham Yahweh that created it, not these devils. But he created it through Esau Edom. Because as we know, in Yahweh Basham Yahweh is the strength and the glory. the deceived and the deceiver are his, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, so let's get this. So this is the book of Romans 1 verse 25. Who changed the truth of the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. And what they have done is they have turned, like I said, they are turning creation upside down. They're trying to reverse engineer creation, and that is what they are doing, turning the truth of the Most High Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua into a lie. To the, as the scriptures say, to the good are all things turned into good, but to the evil are all things turned into evil, right? I'm roughly paraphrasing again, but you see what these devils are doing, because with the creation of Yahweh Basham Yahushai, you have to bear with me because a lot of pieces are popping into my mind right now, and that's why I'm really going into it, really getting into it. But in the book of Genesis, after the Most High created all his creations, he said that he saw them and it was good. And now Esau Edom are defiling and turning these creations into evil. Okay, so let's get back into it. Okay, so the Most High has, through Esau Edom has created, and it's not really a synthetic embryo, but rather he created an embryo outside of, the womb of the mother. Okay, but they still have to use the cells of the mother. They still have to use the mother to create the embryo, and to create the embryo. In other words, to create the fetus of the child. So, did you really create anything, Esau? Did you really do it? Okay, and this is the kind of semantics and wordplay the devil uses in order to make it seem as though he has accomplished something, when in all actuality he truly has not. Okay, because all the praises or the glory and the honor for this right here, okay, for the world's first, and of course they put it in quotation marks, synthetic embryos, belong to Yahweh Basham Yahushai. Okay, continuing in the article, in a world first, Israeli scientists have created synthetic embryos without using sperm or egg cells, having taken only stem cells from the skin of mice. The breakthrough experiment, the result of which were published this week in the peer-reviewed journal Cell, saw the stem cells taken from mice self-assemble into an embryo-like structure with an intestinal tract, brain, and even a beating heart. And of course, when Esau makes an advancement like this, okay, he gets all up in celebration about it, but he will still tell you that you are an unborn child in a woman's womb that has an intestinal tract, that has a brain, that even has a beating heart. Okay, is technically just, a clump of cells. But when Esau makes his artificial, embryo that has what seems to be an intestinal tract, right? Because you can't ever trust what these scientists say, man. They might say, oh, well, there was a heartbeat, when in all actuality, one of the, one of the parts of the embryo that looked like a heart, just contracted a little bit, and they consider that a heartbeat. Because these devils, and especially when they are doing their research, they like to embellish. Okay, let's get that word embellish, which is basically over exaggerate the results. So let's get this word embellish, because Esau Edom is notorious for this. Okay, this is the word embellish, and it reads, this is the definition of the word embellish, and it reads, to make beautiful with decoration, with ornamentation, to decorate, to heighten the attractiveness by adding decorative or fanciful details. And that is basically what Esau Edom has done. Okay, so that is the point right here. You can never really tell or understand, or know, using a lot of synonyms, what really resulted from that experiment, because Esau Edom will tell you whatever he needs to in order to make it seem as though he did something amazing, when in all actuality, okay, it could have just formed some kind of chimera cell. Okay, that anything could have happened, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, but they'll call it an advancement because it looked because basically it looked, or it's like not it looks, but rather it grew into something. Okay, even though it's a deformed creature that looks nothing like the mouse that it was extracted from, as long as it grew into something, they consider that an advancement. It might have twitched a little bit, they consider that a beating of the heart. Okay, and that's how these devils work, man. But anyway, let's continue on. According to cell biologist Professor Jacob Hanna of the Weizmann Institute of Science, the results were truly a remarkable outcome. There was no sperm, no egg, and no uterus, but we managed to get embryo formed from the stem cells alone to 8 days, a third of the gestation period of a mouse with a beating heart, he told Times of Israel. He said this is the first time such an advanced animal embryo has been grown only from stem cells. And you see once again, and we don't need to read any more of that, but you see Esau Edom pushing the envelope, trying to reverse engineer creation, okay, testing the limits of the border that Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua has set up for his rulership, okay. So with that, let's give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua Ba'asham Racha Kwadash Wa Abad Babal Shalom.